Good Monday morning. It is a kind of a humid Monday morning in South Texas, but good morning nonetheless. As we get ready to start another day, right? It's the 12th of April, 2021. My name is Al Gavada. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to be talking about an article I saw on Success.com by Inga. Oh no, I probably should have practiced his last name. Wow. Yeah, I don't even think I should attempt this name. It's Stasiulionyte. I'm gonna have to look up that pronunciation because I do not want to do it disservice. What a beautiful name, right? So the article is about the underlying benefits of asking questions by Miss Inga, and it starts like this. She was in. Let's see. Well, first off, let's learn a little bit about Ms. Inga. She's an Olympian, an athlete and javelin thrower who competed at the Beijing Olympic Games with a 20-year career under her belt. And the article starts like this. When I finally arrived in the U.S. for my Olympic training, I saw a beautiful stadium in front of me. I was ready and excited to start my warm up. Then suddenly, I got confused, wondering how many laps I was supposed to run. I froze from the realization that I was one of the top javelin throwers in the world, but had no idea how to do a warm up. I was good at taking direction, but now I was half a world away from my coach. The immersion into a new country outside of my comfort zone. Imagine going halfway around the world without your familiar team and finding yourself in this situation, right? It says outside of my comfort zone, away from my coach, prompted a lifelong interest in how the brain works. It eventually led me to launch an online training course that asks you questions every day for 30 days. That'd be interesting to check that out. Each answer representing a certain mindset to help people achieve their goals. It says, I believe it's asking people the right questions instead of telling them what to do that creates success, that pushes people to be successful. Interesting. Asking people the right questions instead of telling them what to do, creating success, pushing people to be successful. Questions push people to figure out the answers on their own, get their mind working, so to speak. The question system has been used by coaches of elite athletes and almost all therapists. It's helpful in discovering a person's individual way of thinking and their mental blocks, and in applying specific mindsets to help them achieve their goals. The philosophy is simple, she says. Asking the right questions gives people the answers they need to move forward in life. We need to start looking at our dreams practically. Simply put, our dreams are the problems we have to learn how to solve, right? You got goals, you got dreams, got to figure out how to get there. Dreams are called dreams for a reason. It is something better than what we have now. And to achieve what's better, we have to start finding new solutions. We have to learn new ways to think. Dan Lang, one of my coaches, she said, trained based on questions. Every day, he asked everybody how they felt. Answering fine was not going to do it. We had to be precise with this question to understand how we felt physically, mentally, and emotionally. Depending on the answers we provided, the training for the day was designed for us to reach our optimal results. That's a high level. With this method, Lang's athletes learned how much their mental and emotional states affected results. Wow. That's good stuff. I'm going to have to click on that link. Oh, speaking of which, I want to share the link to this article on our comment section right there. But there's a link to another article where it talks about how much their mental and emotional states affected results and how to improve. We were building ourselves from the core. It says, here are the benefits of asking questions you can start asking today. Number one, we learn about life through questions. It is scientifically proven that we learn about life by asking questions, literally the scientific method, right? Asking questions, figure out how to get there. Children naturally start learning about the world by observing, testing, and asking why. Through questions, children learn the cause and effect relationship and, most important, the meaning of words, right? If you've ever had a small child in your life, whether your own or somebody you've been taking care of, or a relative or friend's child, and the questions of why, how come, Where? How? And the incessant questioning. You have to remember you cannot lose your sense of wonder, right? If you have questions about something, sometimes I feel that as we get older, we're not supposed to ask questions, or we are um, like almost conditioned to believe that we're not supposed to ask questions, when in reality that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing all the time, asking questions on how I'm going to get better, asking questions on how I can develop myself better, and figuring out the answers, right? If I'm in a tough spot, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, socially, financially, asking questions on how I'm going to get out of that tough spot. Number one, we learn about life through questions. Number two, the more we question, the better answers we get. It's funny because I haven't. Usually, when I start these articles, I don't read them beforehand, right? So, and as I'm going, I give my thoughts and my feelings on what I'm reading. Look at this next section. Number two, the more we question, the better answers we get. Unfortunately, with age and responsibilities, the questioning stops and we settle for the few options that we have learned. That's exactly what I just said. It's almost like we're conditioned. But this is interesting what she said. We settle for the few options that we have learned, kind of stuck in a rut, in a pattern, in it's like you're set in your bad habits sometimes, good habits sometimes, bad habits sometimes. The minute those options don't work, we get stuck. Whenever we experience an obstacle, our brain goes to the fastest pattern it can find from our experiences similar to the current situation. Find similarities, right? This is why we sometimes have illogical reactions. We do not give time for the brain to find a better solution. We are just falling back to our comfort level, our familiarity, or our familiar responses to situations, even though it's not the exact situation, it just has some sort of similarity. The more information and experiences we have, the more options we have to solve our problems. So the more we question, the better answers we get. And the better answers we get, the more tools we have in our tool belt to fall back on when we, again, go into a similar situation, or situation that has similarities to a previous experience. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Number three, the quality of our lives depends on questions we ask. The quality of our lives is directly related to the quality of our thinking. The quote is as follows: the quality of our thinking, in turn, is determined by the quality of our questions. For questions are the engine, the driving force behind thinking. That quote was from the Miniature Guide to the Art of Asking Essential Questions. The Miniature Guide to the Art of Asking Essential Questions. That link is on the article, and the article, of course, link is on the comments section. So, number three, the quality of our lives depends on questions we ask. Number four, questioning makes you open. Questioning forms new patterns in the brain. The more patterns it forms, the more flexible it becomes. With flexibility, it can access more information already stored in your brain instead of, again, reverting to the old patterns. I think there's a misconception as people get older, and by older, I mean 20s, 30s, 40s, like, I just can't learn anymore. Of course you can learn more. You don't realize the amount of learning ability, the potential that you have inside your brain. It's, you can keep learning till you can no longer attempt to learn. You have the ability. You have to create these new patterns in your brain by questioning your abilities and pushing against what you think are your limitations. What's holding you back? By the way, I have the answer. I have it right here. What's holding you back? You. You are holding yourself back. Nobody's going to stop you from saying, hey, you ask yourself, I've always wanted to, learn X skill or talent or, a new facet of your career or an entirely new career. And you're saying to yourself that nobody's telling you not to. And if they are, extricate yourself from that situation. If you want to learn a new skill, if you want to develop a new talent, you want to expand your abilities, you want to learn a new language, you want to learn how to question, all this is available. The number of books that have been written on things to learn from is innumerable. Why don't you write a book? Well, everybody writes books. Yeah, but not your book, not with your voice, not with your insight, not with your experiences, what you bring to it, forming those new patterns in the brain. So, number 4, questioning makes you open. Number 5, questioning makes you wiser. When you become more open because of a flexible brain, you become perceptive of many different perspectives and less biased in your decisions. Well, I mean, that's almost one of those like, isn't that common sense? But we cannot overestimate how many people utilize common sense, right? We can't. You'd think it'd be easy to say, well, what if I look at it from a different point of view? What will that tell me? Right? You'd think that would be easy, but it's not. You know what? It can be uncomfortable. People don't want to disturb that comfort level. And I think the longer you remain in a comfort zone, the more difficult it is to question that comfort zone, right? So questioning makes you wiser. When you become more open because of a flexible brain, you become perceptive of many different perspectives and less biased in your decisions. You might discover something new about yourself. Number 6, and the final one, the article's name is 6 Underlying Benefits of Asking Questions by Inga, who has a beautiful last name that I cannot and will not attempt to pronounce. I know I would butcher it, and I don't feel like apologizing for that right now. So I just won't attempt it. Number 6, asking the right questions creates happiness. We all know how peace and harmony feels. We've felt it at some point in your life. But not many of us take a minute to understand what causes these feelings. When we entertain this deep question, what causes these feelings? We start understanding how to feel at peace more often. We realize we are the creators of our feelings. We realize we are the creators of our feelings. They don't just happen to us. Start by asking yourself simple but deep questions, the article continues. Man, these are good. See, you definitely want to check out this article on your own because these questions are something you want to ask yourself and you want to have them at the ready. Instead of having to write anything down right now as you're watching this video or as you're watching it live, go to the article and check out these questions. Start by asking yourself simple but deep questions. What does happiness mean to me? What does happiness mean to me? Simple, but deep. You can actually rattle off an answer if you want, right? You can just, what does happiness mean to me? Getting good night's sleep. What does happening mean to me? The smile of my child, my grandchild. What does happiness mean to me? Not getting any stoplights. Simple. But if you delve deeper into the question, it's something a little more down to your core. The second question here. And these are the simple questions, by the way. There are more. The second simple question. Is it possible to have a big problem and to feel good at the same time? Is it possible to have a big problem and to feel good at the same time? My knee jerk answer to that is yes. Because and I'll tell you why. In my particular situation, it wasn't necessarily a big problem, but a big event, right? Something big happened in my life. This was the loss of a loved one. The grief was sizable, commensurate to the impact and the meaning the person we lost had in our lives. So we had that grief as a family. Individually, I'm sure we had varying degrees of this big grief. Yet, as a family, we also laugh a lot. We also joke a lot. So we, even though we're in a moment of grief, and at other times moments of anxiety because someone was going to have surgery, and we had anxiety, nervous energy and anxiety, we were still joking around and laughing to the point where people were walking by going, "What is wrong with them?" They're in a medical facility, and if any of my brothers and sisters are watching this, they know exactly what situation and what time I'm talking about. Third simple question: do I do something every day to reach my dream? Simple, yes. Get deep with that one, and for me, I'm like, nope. Do I do something every day to reach my dream? First off, ask yourself, do I have a dream? Do I have a goal? A goal without action is just a dream. I'm paraphrasing, I'm sure. Do I do something every day to reach my dream? So those are the three simple but deep questions. Then the article continues. Start asking yourself more difficult questions. Are you ready? What is the most important thing for me in life? Not, something that I want, something that I like, nothing like that. What is the most important thing for me in life? Comfort, helping others, not rocking the boat, stability. I don't want anything to go, but there's chaos everywhere, right? Small levels of chaos that kind of throw things off and shakes people up. So the first difficult question, what is the most important thing for me in life, is followed by the next question, how can I work towards achieving that? How can I work toward achieving that most important thing for me in life? In other conversations that I've had in business and things like that, one key aspect that always is brought up is, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing what you do? And is what you're doing enough to get you where you need to go to? And if not, if you are uncomfortable, if you are dissatisfied, is your why big enough? They say your why needs to be so big that it makes you cry, that it makes you uncomfortable, that it makes you nervous. And are you using that? It's almost like the breath that keeps you alive. Are you using that to drive you to do what you need to do? The article is titled Six Underlying Benefits of Asking Questions. And the 6 points are this. Number one, we learn about life through questions. Number two, the more we question, the better answers we get. Number three, the quality of our lives depends on questions we ask. Number four, questioning makes you open, forming new patterns in your brain, right? Number five, questioning makes you wiser. different perspectives. Empathy. Number 6, asking the right questions creates happiness. The more times we ask ourselves important questions, the article wraps up with, the easier it gets to accept ourselves and to take charge in changing our lives for the better. And Ms. Inga, Olympian, 20-year career, life coach, etc. Uh, Great article on success.com. So the link is in our comments section. Check it out for yourself and ask yourself those questions because it raised some important questions today. Maybe a little heavy to start the week with, but do you want to go into the weekend taking these heavy questions on, right? You just do it. Ask yourself the questions. Write some down. Keep a journal and write your thoughts down. Sometimes we have thoughts that are fleeting, and if we don't write them down, we're like, oh, what was that I was thinking? Might have had that answer, right? So again, the article is linked on our comments section. I thank you for joining me today, whether it was live or in the replay, the pre-recorded, the replay. I appreciate you. I thank you. And today I wish you a couple of things. I wish you understanding, and I wish you insight into yourself, figuring out what is important for you in life. I wish you joy. I wish you peace to be able to enjoy that joy. And I wish you happiness. Joy and happiness, right? Are they the same thing? I don't know. Ask yourself that question. Is your joy and your happiness the same thing? Or are they truly independent of each other? So I wish you all those things today as you start your work week, or at least the determined work week or the defined work week on the calendar. And I want to remind you, knowledge is power. Imagination is king. And intelligence your weapon. Read a good book today. Enrich your mind. And above all, take action. I hope to be back on Wednesday at 8 a.m. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what we talk about then. Until next time, we'll be talking.